Bump, ba-da-da, dun, 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 da-da. Hey, everybody out there in TV land. All right, I was just posting my little dealy bob about the stream going live. Awesome. Get the phone out of the way. How is it going? Everybody out there, Palm Sunday. Hope everybody is having a good day. It's starting to get a little bit warm here in Vegas. We've had the tortoises out. I put a short video of Yertle walking around the patio yesterday on my X account. It really sounded better when it was Twitter, but whatever. So if anybody is interested in seeing a tortoise walk around for 10 or 15 seconds, you want to go check that out. I bring people the content that the mainstream refuses to. That's just how I live my life. And you see, we got a desk, actually, a library table, something I got from my mother. It's working, but it took a minute. Okay, thank you, hon. Well, that's okay, because I have said nothing of any importance. So I have the old library table here loaded up with things to look at today, which is why you're not staring at my pretty face. I know that should, if anything should improve my numbers, that should be it. I got a cup of coffee, a little Donald Duck action here, which, by the way, that was because it looked good in the image of the picture there. Now I'm going to move it, because if I don't, I'm probably going to spill it. So we'll get him out of the way. Now we can move this too. All right. So we're going to look at a few things today, and chief among them are some really old items that were gifted to us last Sunday after my stream. We drove out to see some folks, and they're moving. They're moving to a new place. So they were getting rid of some old things. Wanted to know if we'd want these. And I was busy chatting with people, so I didn't even know about this till we got home. And then my eyes bugged out of my head, because I like old crap. Hey, 1920s library table here. I'm sitting on a 1940s chair. If you've ever watched Sapphire and Steel, great British sci-fi show. If you've ever watched that, you know that my office alone could actually end the entire time-space continuum for all of the stuff that I mix and match from different time periods in here. So let's jump in. We'll look at some of this stuff. We'll chat about it a little bit, maybe chat about a few other things. We'll look at some new cool stuff that's coming out that I've happened to come across over the last week. And we'll just kind of do a little chill, Sunday. And if you're watching, feel free to say hi in the chat. Love to hear from you. So let's get started. Now, I'm not showing the front of this ration book, at least not immediately, because it has a name on it. And, you try to avoid that somewhat. But this is a ration book from 1943. We got the official seal. Never buy rationed goods without ration stamps. Never pay more than the legal price. United States Office of Price Administration. It also says, when you have used your ration, salvage the tin cans and waste fats. They are needed to make munitions for our fighting men. Cooperate with your local salvage committee. Okay. And so if you've ever seen ration stamps, here we have a few for coffee. And here we have these. I don't know what these would... I suppose there were different items. I mean, these have like wheat. These have like a torch, Here we have spare. And so could that be like spare parts or something? So you get a little look at some of these things. Now, let's see if I can cover up the name. You can see the front of this, although now it occurs to me it's actually signed up here too. Well, it's not the end of the world either way. Whoops. Come on, Let's focus in. Focus. There we go. War Rations Book 4. All right, so a little bit of World War II history there with a war rations book. We got this, directions for setting, starting, and operating the Model K Lambert gas and gasoline engines from Lambert Gas and Gasoline Engine Company, Anderson, Indiana, US of A. And this is like a lot of technical stuff. So, oh, that one got ripped. It looks like that page. The valves. I saw some kind of a, there's a little bit of art, a little pen and ink here. Model K engines. So some specs on the different engines. Kind of cool. I don't know if we have a year. I don't think we have a year on this one, although I guess if you know when the Model K engines were out and about, you can figure that out. Here we have more on the model engines. Is there like a clever letter in there somewhere? Just the model. Gas and gasoline engines. Kind of a simple pamphlet. Oh, but what do we have in here? Look at this, folks. Yeah, inside we have $5. This is Hong Kong. The Chartered Bank of India, Australia, and China. Let's see if we can, how close in we can get, because it's very pretty. Look at that. Amazing work. We have this. Here's a, whoops, dropping stuff now. There's a 10 spot. Very impressive. $1 from the government of Hong Kong with the late Queen's portrait on there. Government of Hong Kong, $1. And I guess if there's a theme to any of this stuff, on here we have from the Bank of Canada, Banque du Canada, $2. What do we got in the back? We got a pretty scene of the countryside. That was when countries respected their farmers. Oh, that's all over with now. Okay, so we got this book. The cost of model. So I guess the model engine is what it was called. But one thing I want to bring up, and again, the theme here is engraving and pen and ink work, and we're dealing with no photography here. So there's the 8 horsepower model engine. Above cut is made from a photograph of 8 horsepower engine showing style of engines from 2 horsepower. So the Model Gas Engine Company from Auburn, Indiana, with warehouses. Where are we at here? Los Angeles, California, Salt Lake City, Utah, San Francisco, California, New York City, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Denver, Colorado, City of Mexico, San Antonio, Texas, and El Paso, New Mexico. This is catalog number 11. And so basically you get a bunch of images here of these old engines, which look like they're essentially copied from photographs, but still, holy moly, very cool stuff. And I love this kind of thing, piston and piston rings. See there? Get a close up on the igniters. I love this kind of stuff because so many of these things over time, they almost become unreal. You know what I mean? Like, you see it in period pieces and movies and things. And it sort of becomes like it's dress up, right? It's not real. And you have to stop and go, no. This is how people actually dress. This is the things they actually did. This next one, you're going to see some of that. This is the Kramer Automatic Tamper Company, Peoria, Illinois, catalog number 4. This one's in a little bit rougher shape. Not terrible. Hobbs composition faceplates. I got to be careful with this one, though, because the cover is a little messed up. This is a broken ashlar church built by J.H. Jones, Fostoria, Ohio, with a Hobbs machine, 12-inch block below the water table. And so, again, I don't know what we have here. These are, oh, wow, this is like people writing in. Let's see one here. Kramer Automatic Tamper Company, Peoria, Illinois. Gentlemen, in answer to your letter of recent date, will say that I think you people have got the best block tamper on the market. As our territory is small, we do not have to turn out such a large amount of blocks. In 2 seasons, we have made, with your tamper, 75,000 blocks at an expense of $3 for a new set of wood tamps. I would recommend it to anyone as being all okay. I have no picture of plant or would send you one. Yours respectfully, W.W. Thompson, manager, and that's from Melvin, Illinois, November 13th, 1911. So that tells us what year we're dealing with here. We do have some photography in this one. The Kramer Tamper, tamping sand lime block in Cranford Paving Company's plant, Washington, D.C., etc. Whoops. I'm not actually showing the picture. I'm only looking at it myself. I'm a very selfish guy. Here we go. Okay, so if you've ever seen that particular kind of brick, which you get a lot through the Midwest, I've seen it in Texas. I see it in Iowa. You don't see it out here in Vegas, really. But apparently those were tamped blocks. So interesting. I didn't really know how those were made. There's a little imagery here. Okay, so here's, oh no, I was wrong. I got one more before the really cool one. This is a wireless course by S. Gernsback, A. Lescarbora, and HWC Core, 8th edition. So this gives you everything you need to know about wireless radios. This is copyright 1918. So we are over 100 years old. So this is an antique. The Gernsback, I was like going, wasn't that the name of the guy who did Amazing Stories? Am I wrong on that? So wireless course in 20 lessons. This baby can set you up. It would be kind of fun to go through and just learn a technology that's basically gone. But we get a lot of ink drawings in here. Lesson number 2, the principles of magnetism. In other words, how to get chicks. Oh, yeah. Actually, this right here, I don't know. Maybe this would have gotten you chicks back in the day because you'd know how to make a working radio. But then again, maybe not. Lesson number 3, dynamos, motors, generators, and wiring. And so it goes. Okay. So very cool. This is the one, though, the first one my wife showed me. And when I saw it, my first thought was, okay, hold on. Is this like a reproduction? Surely this isn't original. No, I believe it is original. So this is Sears Roebuck Company Automobile Supplies Catalog from 1913. There's the Sears Roebuck logo at the time. Or would that be its word mark? I don't know. Maybe some of the marketing people out there would know. Oh, I do have a couple things. I probably should know this, but why is there English? Oh, that's because Hong Kong was part of the British Empire. At the time, they gave it back to China a few years back. But basically, when Britain beat them in, I think it was probably the Opium Wars, which was the British forcing the Chinese to accept the import of drugs into their country. Britain, come on now. I think they got like a lease on Hong Kong for something like 80 years or what have you. So Hong Kong was technically part of the British Empire. And that's why it was in English. It was ruled by the Queen. And then it wasn't. So here we have a 1913 catalog. Some really cool imagery, ink stuff. let's roll through this. I'm going to go through this while I talk about a couple other things. So here are all the prices. Second quality auto tubes and casings, up to $41. So that's $41 in, this is from Dunlop. Cool. In 1913. So tires are kind of expensive. There's a couple of these pages we'll focus in on. Look at that, number placard and characters, metal number placards and characters. So in other words, like license plates, you were buying them, I guess. Genuine Weed anti-skid chains. So Weed would be the company. Those run from $3.50 up to about, I don't know, what's that, $15, $12.50, $14. There it is. Trunk straps. So a lot of stuff you see on old cars that almost seem like they're unreal. Like, did people really drive around in the? Yeah, they did. And there's some cool stuff in here. That one, leather number placards. Why can't I get a leather license plate in this day and age? You know, we're living like savages, boys and girls. Let's get that in here, see if we can close up. But just imagine the work that went into putting stuff like this together, with all the art that had to be produced for like air pumps, things like that. There used to be so much work out there for illustrators. Now, granted, the perfection nipple. We'll say no more. There used to be so much work for illustrators back in the day, and this is boring work, maybe, but it was work. It helped pay bills, which gave you time to maybe work on more fanciful illustrations. Electric headlights, elite, classy, aristocratic, knobby. These are the electric sidelights. Knobby, majestic, popular. Dude, that's awesome. Would you prefer classy or aristocratic? You know what? It's a little tight this month. Let's go with elite. Oh, well, whatever you say, sir. Side oil lamps for your cars. Don't see a lot of that. Electric tail lamps. Acetylene gas burners. Adjustable lamp brackets. So basically everything that you might need. Dandy Dolly complete lighting outfit. Wow. Everything you might need for your car. Now, obviously, at this time, these are expensive. Oh, here's one that my wife really enjoyed. Let's see if I can bring it a little closer up. The automobile horns, honk, honk, which, nowadays we primarily think of as being operated by, I don't know, clowns, right? Sideshow Bob. Here's the days where that's what you would actually genuinely put on your car. It was also new. There are some very cool videos out on YouTube that will show you like traffic along a road in the 1920s. And dude, it's just, there's like no rules practically. Folks just go. People walk right out in front of cars. The cars are expected to stop. It looks insane. I mean, actually, it looks a lot like the roads nowadays. But see, we actually have rules people are supposed to be following. So here we got some speedometers. They go up to 80. 1913, 80 is going to be pretty dang fast. We got windshields, spark plugs, AC, Kingston, Winter, Moeller, Raja porcelain spark plug. Give you an idea of some of the companies making this stuff. But AC, that's still around, right? Let's see, used exclusively on all Buicks, Chalmers, Detroit, and General Motor Company's cars, and by the best known racing drivers. will not leak nor easily soot, and can be used on magneto or battery. Furnished in 3 standard sizes. Shipping weight any size 4 ounces. 85 cents down to 30 cents. Well, that's for like extras maybe? So you buy one and you can get extras cheaper. Cool. Spark coils. I'll tell you what, Sears, like automotive, that was still like a really big thing not that long ago. So we have spark coils, we have switches, South Bend battery knife switches. So much stuff becomes automated or just included, and you kind of, at the time, you know, a lot of this stuff, you got to buy them separately. Here we have some batteries, which if you think about it, don't look massively different from what batteries look like today. They might be a little smaller. I don't know, but vacuum bottles, dry batteries, battery connections and terminals, the Schlebeler carburetor, the Kalamazoo intensifier. That sounds like a wrestling move. If you are a burgeoning new wrestler, consider the Kalamazoo intensifier. Our official vulcanizing outfits, Goodrich clinch patching outfit. So this is for patching tires, basically, which you had to do a lot of back in the day. All right, here's one of the ones that really got us. I really wanted to show off. That's what I've been working towards. Radiator emblems. All right, in other words, your little dude that you put on top of your radiator. So this is one of the interesting ones. Maybe here, it might be better if I grab the magnifying glass and do it, just because of the angle here. But this little dude here is Gobbo. And I think I've seen something about that. That was like some kind of a cutesy thing from back in the day. But we got that. We got like the Masons, right? I think that's Mason. Shriner. So if you want to show off your Shriner, you put that. That's your hood ornament nowadays. We'd probably call it. Camel, Eagles, Woodman. So this is, I think that must have been, because it says MA on it. So the Woodman must have been another fraternal organization. Let's get close in on the Woodman. So it's like a squirrel on top of a leaf or something. Bear, Knights of Columbus, the Bulldog. I love the Bulldog. That's cool. Buffaloes, elephants. And the way they say buffaloes and elephants, that makes me think we're talking fraternal organizations too. The MD cross is kind of cool, so you could show off that you're a doctor. Yeah, so that was really groovy. There's one more page that we really liked. Brass sundries. Just your average little pieces of brass. Here we have tubings, fittings, funnels. I mean, basically, it's all here. If you're into D&D, especially from back in maybe the late 80s, maybe, and you had, what was it called? Like Aurora's Whole Realms catalog. I'll show that off one of these days for people who have never seen it, but it's very much like this, except it was all sorts of stuff that you could use in a D&D campaign. Some of it was like fantastic. A lot of it was just normal, but it gave prices for everything, and it used these kind of illustrations. And I didn't even play like Forgotten Realms, but I remember getting that because I loved it. Here we go. This is awesome. Oops. No. You guys don't fall out of there just yet. Hold on now. Hold on now. Automobile goggles. Yep. People wore them. You could buy them from Sears. Flat folding glasses, aluminum frame, oval rubber. There's a lot of them too. There's 2 pages. So you'll see the guys from the old days with the goggles on, driving their cars. They have the long coats and the caps. Here you go. So genuine leather mask, best quality, lined with green satin, edged with velvet, 4 glasses and brass rims and removable holder, adjustable elastic band, shipping weight 6 ounces, price 65 cents. And then extra lenses, 20 cents. And it looks like the lenses slide in. That's pretty cool. So like these are 47 cents. So they're actually not that expensive compared. And that tells you though, when you're looking at like $15 for a tire, 47 cents for that. Here we have gabardine overcoats, khaki suits for motorists. Oh man, dude, pick your look. Duster coats for motorists, waterproof rubberized slip-on motor coats. You know, you got to remember, like these cars are kind of open air at the time. So, you know, yeah, I know the goggles are great. So, I mean, it made sense, you know, here's the caps and gloves. I also love that, like, there was a time, these sweaters are actually really cool. Roughneck sweater coats. Shaker knit roughneck. So that's what, is that what a roughneck is? Wow. Special hunting coats, all wool worsted sweater coats. Man, these are cool. But, yeah, I like how back in the day, you know, there's like a uniform. You know, there's certain things you wear. And it's sort of a social thing. Like, you can't just be throwing at anything to go drive your car, for crying out loud. What are you, some kind of savage? You got to have your special coat. You got to have your goggles, your cap, transmission greases, metal polish, alcohol, etc. Interesting. Automobile and motorcycle oils. I don't see like a name. Dixon's motor lubricants. Hold your jokes, please. Official jet lac for painting auto engines. Carbon, calcium, and grease solvents, tire powder. So this gets into some of the less groovy stuff. However, let's go a little bit towards the end here. Oh, look at that. Mr. Automobile Man, you may need wrenches, pliers, vices, or nippers. Buy now. Wow, look at that. All the tools. We're not in the Sears Craftsman days yet, but probably heading that direction. Man, you can see what a big deal this was for the economy. All the stuff it opened up. Things you didn't even know that you needed. Ooh, French asbestos gaskets for spark plugs. I only import my asbestos gaskets. Why pay garage rent of $10 to $15 a month? Again, now, this is 1913. $10 a month. Little cheap, little steep. This $150 ready-made garage for $96.50. Very cool. That's when, yeah, your garage was usually detached. You still find that in lots of places. So here we go. That 1913 Model 9 horsepower deluxe Sears Auto Cycle, the Motorcycle King, for $19.13. They also have bicycles. We see a little kid on bike. There we go, though. You want to buy yourself a motorcycle. Now, let's see. I don't see a price. So you had to write, like, for it. Well, yeah, because that makes sense. You probably had to pick out different colors or different things. It says, a giant for power, a glutton for eating up distance, as sturdy as a bull, as fleet as a greyhound, surprisingly handsome. This model and 4 others fully described and shown in actual colors in our new Autocycle catalog. Right for it today. Now it is free. That I would like to have, but I probably won't ever get it. And then we got an index on the back. So I just thought that was really cool. I love the work that went in to all those colors and things like that. Just very cool stuff. And then this is what we also loved. Still in the object were, the envelope for placing your orders. Before sealing this envelope, be sure you have written your name, post office, and shipping point plainly on your order. Be sure you have given sizes and colors and enclosed samples where needed. And so we have a second envelope. So there's 2 of those. Makes sense. And here is auto supply order blank from Sears, Roebuck and Company, Chicago, Illinois. So there you go. Fill out your little order, name, post office, etc. Parcel post, insured parcel post, express, freight. You could check what you wanted there. Blank on the back. But so we dug that was still in there. I don't know, it may come with more, and maybe they did do some stuff. Maybe they didn't end up ordering anything. Just wanted to share that with everybody out there. Where are we at? 30 minutes in. Look at that. Boy, I wasted a lot of time. Is it really a waste? Come on, man. We're just chilling out. We're hanging out. And when I say we, I mean probably my wife and I. I'm not sure if anybody else is out there. If you are, let me know in the chat. Let's take a look at some new items that have popped up here recently that I thought were kind of cool and worth talking about. Steve Ditko's Amazing Heroes and Monsters. Motorcycles range from 150 to 250. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have my calculator. Actually, I could grab it on my phone, but I'm not going to do it. Steve Ditko's Amazing Heroes and Monsters on Indiegogo. You can get print and digital comics of Mr. A, The Lost Adventures #1, Fantastic Giants #1, Static #1, and Avenging World #1, and other merchandise. It says including some signed comics. I believe this is being done by Steve Ditko's nephew. So something you could look for on Indiegogo right now. Different, levels of support, the normal thing. Pretty cool, though. I've not read a lot of this later stuff. I might check it out. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to or not, but I might. It's cool stuff, and I love Steve Ditko, and I'd love to support the cause of keeping his stuff, out there and fresh and alive. I'd mentioned this last time. It is now up for the sign-up page on Indiegogo. This is from Andy Smith and Dennis Turner. Lilith Infernal Conflict #1. Sort of spinning off from the Core Draft comics. I did a review of that last time around. I like Core Draft. It's a lot of fun. It's barbarian fantasy, but it has a sort of role-playing game connection to it as well. Lilith is a succubus, seemingly the enemy, but she actually sort of helped them in the last one. So is she turning good? Probably not, but maybe she has her own agenda that will be revealed in that one. Beastmaster, the classic, coming out in 4K, ultra high def from Shout Factory. Dude, this was like a regular HBO thing. Ice Pirates, Beastmaster, Cannonball Run, The Big Red One. You might have your own. It depends on what age you were when you were watching HBO. For me, it was something we watched over at the neighbor's house because we didn't have it, but saw a lot of Beastmaster. Not a lot of clothing on in that one, and some really weird stuff. Showed it to my daughter. She was angry because of, you know what? Just in case, I won't do the spoiler, but there was something that made her angry. But anyways, coming out, and boy, ultra high def. Man, it's going to be a lot of almost naked in really, really sharp contrast on your television set. So, enter at your own risk. We'll put it that way. Don't complain. This I thought was cool. The Essential Peanuts. I believe it's like an intro by Mark Evanier, and I think maybe he put together what he considered were Essential Peanuts on sale wherever books are sold on October 7th, 2025. So this comes later. I don't think it's a pre-order, but very cool. Honestly, I dig stuff like this, but I kind of dig more just finding the old digest-sized books from the old days and getting a bunch of those. But if you are a real Peanuts fan, and man, why aren't you? Schultz did amazing stuff. Really, 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 really smart comics, Oh, boy. Amazing. Horseman #1. Coming out now, or pre-ordering now from Ripaverse. So some people said, wait, what was the other Horseman thing? Was it #0? Well, it was a graphic novel that was kind of giving you the background to the character. I liked it. I thought it was an interesting book. Because it gave you something you don't get with certain heroes primarily, here's this guy who's like biting off more than he can chew. And he learns a really, really hard lesson. And he actually had a couple opportunities to learn it and didn't. So this is him coming back. So lessons learned? Maybe not all of his lessons are learned. I'm looking forward to it. I enjoy The Horseman. I like the art. Joe Bennett. This also popped up. 3-0. The Robo Duo, or actually it's D-O-U. Dow? Robo Dow? Robo Do? Voltron. That's what I know. Retro edition toy. So apparently it's painted like the original toy released in 1981. Coming out April 15th. Or at least pre-order then. Probably expensive. I don't think I found a price. I looked a little bit. So just a few things popping around that caught my eye. Not a lot of news really at the moment. We're kind of getting some stuff about the Superman movie reshoots. Looks like they're cutting a bunch of it down, which is probably smart. Some of the stuff that was being talked about, you're going, yeah, I'm not sure about that, dude. That's, it's a lot of time spent on some conversations that maybe don't need to happen. So that might be a good thing. There's some controversy over the Fantastic Four movie. Some of the things being said are making people go, oh God, Disney's doing it again. I mean, the thing that gets me about it, again, man, whatever your politics are, it's cool. I don't really care. Honestly, like, unless you want to enslave me, I'm cool. Like, live your life your way. I don't care. But you're going, okay, wait a minute. You just had Snow White with a lot of problems because of things said by the lead actress. Again, whether you agree with her or not, it clearly had an impact on the movie. One way or another. You could say it's unfair, fine, but it had an impact. And so what do? Two different people coming out saying things that are getting people going, oh. And you're like going, dude, Disney, like, you don't know how to do this, do you? You honest to God don't know how to run a company and make it work. I don't know, man. It's insane. It just is insane. Like, I'm not sitting there saying, I'm a, CEO. I've started 15, companies, all of them in the Fortune 500. And so I can tell you how to, no, I'm just a normal schlub going, hey, I don't know, maybe tell your actors to not talk about stuff like that. Just don't talk about stuff like that. Oh, what? Tell us about Fantastic Four, it's like, we're going into doing some sci-fi stuff and it's going to be really cool. We're saving the world. Oh man, there's amazing special effects. You're going to love this movie, right? That's what you do. I can remember Harrison Ford over the years doing promo for movies, and he hated it. And it's apparent now more than even then. He didn't like doing that stuff. But he's like, well, I'm in the movie. I'm signed up. They paid me. This is what I do. It's part of my job. And what he didn't do was sit there. He just certainly didn't trash the movies, although maybe some of them he wanted to. I don't know. But he didn't sit there and opine on a bunch of stuff that people were going to go, what? What did he say? He talked about the movie, talked about filming it. It's Harrison Ford. He was always a little bit standoffish, but he just, like, God, this is how you promote a movie. It's simple. Because at a minimum, even if you're going to do a movie that might piss a lot of people off, you want to get those butts in seats on day one, get the tickets, get the money. All right, word of mouth. But obviously what you really want to do is make just a damn good movie that people are going to want to go and see multiple times and buy and tell their friends about. But, whatever, like, at least get people in for day one. I just don't know. And the thing that's bugging me nowadays really is, we're not talking about the stories. It doesn't seem like there's that much excitement for, like, advancing the Marvel universe to the next. There is. Some people are just excited, and that's cool. God bless you. But there's so much other stuff, so much business stuff. It's just, I don't know, man. If the movies were like really better, more exciting, more engaging, I don't think we'd care that much about this other stuff. Because God knows, man, a lot of movies did really well back in the day that were done by people with very, I won't say extreme, but they had political opinions to one side and not the other. They still put out stuff that people liked. I mean, and they, they might say something and you'd be like, oh, I don't know about that, but I'm still going to go watch the movie because it looks great. It just, yeah, I don't know. It just seems like they've lost their minds lately. They can't get out of their own way to make stuff. Hey, c'est la vie. There's so many movies that exist. There's so much cool stuff out there. I don't care. Like, if Hollywood stopped making movies tomorrow, I'd hate all those people losing their jobs, but because that's just terrible. I don't wish ill on folks. I just don't. Very rarely. You got to be a really horrific human being for me to wish ill on you. But there's stuff to watch. There's stuff to do. There's books to read. Like, you got to step it up, guys. Let's talk about some stuff that showed up this week that I enjoyed. Because that's always nice to talk about. Actually, first I'll throw this guy. I showed him off last time. This is Lord Deathman. It's from the Japanese Batman manga. He went on sale at Amazon. I always thought he was cool looking. I can't afford an original Scareglow, so this is my next best thing. But I finally got him out of the package, got the sword going. Let's get a close-up of that face. And, I mean, basically, it's a villain wearing a kid's skeleton costume. I respect that. You got, movement in the knees. Well, his knees move about as well as mine do. You need to loosen them up. Movement in the arms, head. We got a cloth cape. Very cool little figure. I don't really collect the Batman 66 line, although it might be the only way I get a Catwoman figure, because damn, those Figure Toy Company ones are not cheap. But at any rate, I just thought it was cool. And it went on sale. It's been sitting in my wish list, things I would buy if I wasn't so cheap, for a long time. Price went down, and I am cheap, so I got it. Let's talk Perfect 10. Number 5. This is from Genuine Comics. And I genuinely like these books. You got yourself some bodacious babes. You got some, bulky heroes. It's old-fashioned superhero stuff. This is like the culmination of a storyline. Now, there is going to be a number 6 that's sort of the aftermath. And there's a big thing that happens in this one for these characters. But I got the first 4, and I really dug it, so I was definitely in for number 5. Just good, solid superhero stuff, man. I'm serious. Great art, fun art. And they have to handle some huge superhero combats in this one. A lot of characters. Like, imagine, Justice League versus the Legion of Doom. And they handle it really well. A lot of characters. They do it well. Interesting personalities. I want to know more about a lot of them. Looking forward to it. I mean, the only downside for me at all is the shipping's a little, it's not like, high as in, you shouldn't charge this. It's fair. But Brink, Dave, I believe it's Dave Brink. If it's not, I apologize, is from Holland. So it's kind of an import. And, so the shipping can be a little rough. There's one of these days, I need to probably just buy some digital. And I'm not that big into digital comics, but I want to read the stuff, and that would be a little more affordable. But Power Roderick's great art, worth checking out. We got the little card there. And it also came with a few art pieces. There's Perfect 10 and our villain in the background. So the idea is she is, it's like a project with cloned assassins. There we go. Sorry, I wasn't considering that well. So it's a very cool idea. And this one like retains her memory and kind of knows what's been going on. Just some cool designs, cool superhero names. This is just, this is what you once upon a time got out of Marvel, DC, those kind of companies. It's fun, man. I'm into the genuine verse. I like it. I will be buying more. Also out, Toy Ventures number 13 from Plaid Stallions, Brick Mantooth. If you're into it, you know it. So this is Toy Collecting Toy Collecting Magazine. This is the extra. Always comes with a little extra. So we got this. I'm definitely putting this dude up. Oh, we got, wow, Captain Nemo of the Nautilus. Oh, it's spamming the chat. Okay, let's see. How do I? Oh, well, isn't that nice? A little a-hole. And I'm trying to. It's not letting me get rid of the guy. Oh, well. Well, congratulations. You suck. Nobody else is chatting, though, so whatever. So anyways, you get this little extra. Put that up probably around Halloween. But so it's into, toy collecting, vintage toys, basically. Always a fun magazine. You get a big article on Aquaman. Yeah, and I'll go through and I'll ban that guy later. So a bunch of Aquaman toys and collectibles from back in the day. And then he does a really cool bit on, let me get some Star Trek rack toys. But we get some stuff that would have come out from Mego. This is from like the 1983 catalog that ended up not coming out. And get a die-cast Silver Surfer. You get some really cool stuff for Spidey, for Batman. They did some like 3D model things here, which is really cool. So there's some Bat items, some Spidey stuff. It's a fun magazine. It's really, I'm a big fan of Brian Heiler. He has the Plaid Stallions YouTube channel. Shows off cool stuff all the time. A lot of toy stuff. Very positive guy. It's what we need in the world. So Toy Ventures number 13 out now. You can get back issues. And this is available as well. So you might want to check that one out. As far as deliveries, we got Flash here. Now, I might have showed Flash off before. I'm trying to remember the order. First Adam got delivered, then Lobo, and then Jay Garrick Flash. This is the McFarlane Toys Superpowers line. Oh, thank you. Reported to spam and he's gone. Thank you, hon. I appreciate that. I know I need to give you officially a wrench, and I have no idea how to do something like that. Yeah, I'll have to figure that out. At any rate, I'd like to take a wrench to the guy. So Golden Age Flash finally showed up. So I wanted to show it off. I'm going to be doing a video kind of showing off the new wave, the ones that I got. I didn't get the Robin because I just didn't need him. But get a look at the packaging. And anyways, so remember I said this dude on sale at Amazon. There's something else on sale that I've been looking at for a while. And it was a good sale. And I couldn't resist. And that was Green Lantern, Hourman, and Starman. Other Golden Age characters. If you got Golden Age Flash, doesn't it just make sense? Well, either way. So these guys showed up, I think yesterday, or maybe Friday. Yeah, so I'm going to do a video on all that stuff. Really cool stuff. I enjoy it a lot. I really like their Superpowers line, and it's like their $20 figures. Some cool stuff. We also got Cold Slither Zartan, who showed up from Super 7. Now, if you get their, do they call it Ultimates line? I can't remember now. Their deluxe line. They got the whole band. But for the O-ring line, they just got Zartan. I'm going to take this out of the package in a video and do a better review. But look at great art. Great art. You get the Zartan file card. Here's some of the other characters they got. But you figure how many more Cold Slither Zartan O-rings are going to get made before I shuffle off this Mortal Coil? Probably not a lot. So I went ahead and grabbed them. I can't wait to get them out of there. Kind of compare them to the old O-ring figures and compare him to the ones that White Elephant Toys has done. And Strike Force Alpha. So what else do we got? I know I'm running out of hands. And there we go. Okay, a little review time. I had a little time to watch movies this week or listen to. This is one I listened to. Movie is called Interns Can't Take Money, which is a line in the actual movie. And so it is about this young doctor. He's an intern currently with a very famous name, Dr. Kildare. Now, Dr. Kildare is maybe not as well known these days, but it was a big character back in the day. There was a series of movies starring Lou Ayres, who, by the way, really interesting guy. He, I believe, was a Buddhist and a pacifist who, did not want to be involved killing people in a war. I'm trying to move stuff right now. There we go. We're making noise. Didn't want to be involved, in killing people in a war, but he did volunteer for service in World War II as a medic. So, he had his principles, but he joined. So he did that. At any rate, interesting guy. So he was in a series of films. I didn't know this was a Dr. Kildare movie when I first put it on. This is something I listen to at work while I'm doing a lot of data entry. It is from, 1937, I want to say. Barbara Stanwyck in it as well. It's kind of melodramatic. I liked it, though. I really enjoyed it. I liked her performance. I liked Joel McCrea's performance as Dr. Kildare. And I kind of run hot and cold on Joel McCrea sometimes, but I did like him in this one. Good story. Lloyd Nolan is in it playing a gangster. It was nice. It was a good flick. If you're into old 30s stuff, you might like it. And if you're into Dr. Kildare, the other famous Dr. Kildare, Richard Chamberlain. Richard Chamberlain played Dr. Kildare, I want to say, on TV. Would it have been like the early 60s? I think that's what kind of brought him to prominence. Yeah. So anyhow, not a bad little flick. G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. I never watched this back in the day. So yesterday, I'm like, I got nothing to do. Maybe I'll watch G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. Finally watched that movie. Well, 15 minutes later, I decided to watch something else because it wasn't good. And it really didn't feel like G.I. Joe to me. There just was no point. So I left G.I. Joe, Rise of Cobra, and I threw on an old movie from 1983, 85, 83, I think. Star Chaser, The Legend of Orin. It got panned by critics back in the day because it was so derivative of Star Wars. And you're kind of going, not necessarily the worst thing in the world to be derivative of Star Wars. But I got to tell you something. I really liked it. First of all, we had this in the children's section at that video store I worked at. And this movie should not be in a children's section. I'll say that right off the bat. There are some kind of sort of brutal deaths early on. There's a few, There's a little bit of, innuendo here and there. Not really for kids. But it might not have been adult enough to really get that notice. It's a little bit more like in the Ralph Bakshi side of things of animation than Disney. I liked it, and I liked a lot of the design. It's not a complex story. Young hero, a roguish guy. They're going up against some bad dudes, but there's some cool stuff in it. I laughed a few times. The robot lady there is called Silica. And usually if I was laughing, it was because of something she said. I really dug that character. So the first part of the movie, to me, really reminded me of Filmation's Flash Gordon, which also had some character designs that not necessarily for kids, even though that one was definitely made for kids. It kind of reminded me of that. Some of the design, philosophies, some of the aesthetics. The second half, there's a lot of scenes where you're going, that's very Star Wars, very Star Wars. But I liked it. So you might want to check that one out. Star Chaser, The Legend of Orin. Had never watched it before, but I really did enjoy it. And I think I'm going to do like a fuller review here in a few weeks. I'll have to prep it. I'm prepping right now. This will probably come out late April. I'm prepping Rock and Rule, which I freaking love. Rock and Rule. So I'm prepping that one. This one will come sometime later. But there you go. There's a few little reviews, not a whole lot. Oh, you know what? The other thing, I haven't finished it. I'm like about 15 minutes away. I usually, before I go to bed at night, I will watch like a bit of a movie. So I'll pick something and then I'll watch, like, I don't know, man, like 15 minutes of it, 20 minutes. Just depends on when I start feeling like I'm falling asleep. And so I've been watching an old TV movie called The Vampire from, I want to say 79. Written by Stephen Bochco. Dude, I like it. I think it's pretty dang good. There's some really cool scenes in it. Oh God, I'm losing his name. The guy playing the vampire. You'd know him. If you know old stuff, you'd know him. Perfect for the role. I'm really enjoying that one. You pretty much can't. I don't think it's ever been released. This is like an old VHS copy or something people like taped off a TV. So it's not the greatest copy in the world, but damn, it's pretty cool. So The Vampire, 1979. Check it out. This is like before Bochco was known for his cop shows, but that was like right around the corner on that stuff. Worth checking out. So there we go. That is probably the live stream for the day. Lots of fun things, lots of cool stuff. Hope everybody's had a groovy week. We'll show off a few comics while we wrap this up that I've just finished reading lately. Little Mighty Thor action. That's where him and Beta Ray Bill and Sif are taking on the demons. That was a Thor annual. That was Simonson, inked by Ernie Chan. Sword and Sorcery. Most of these are 50 centers, dude. Sword of Sorcery, sorry. Fawford and the Grey Mouser by Denny O'Neil and Fritz Leiber. Art from Walt Simonson and Al Milgrom. It's pretty darn good. Some old Superman stuff. So at any rate, I hope everybody's had a good week. Hope you're going to have a good week coming up. We're entering Holy Week. We're heading towards Easter. God bless everybody out there. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there if you can find a way. I know sometimes it's tough. We get caught up in a lot of the bad things in life, but there are so many good things in life too. For example, this issue is Supergirl. Carmine Infantino doing the art chores. Supergirl comics oftentimes have just really good art and really great. I love that cover. Look at that face. That is absolutely rad. Sometimes the stories are a little goofy, but anytime I can find a Supergirl in like the 50 cent or dollar bin, I'm there. I am there. Anyhow. So I hope everybody has a good week coming up. Hope everybody who celebrates had a great Passover. yesterday. If you don't celebrate any of this stuff, I hope you have a good time anyways. You know, pick up a chocolate bunny, right? Pick up some chocolate eggs, one of those Cadbury eggs. Oh, dude, that was the biggest disappointment of my young life. You remember those commercials with the rabbit who sounded like a chicken? Bark, 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 bark. And like my sister and I are like, that's hilarious. And we want one of those. Oh my God, it's like a chocolate egg, but it has something in the middle of it. My mother got those eggs for us and we bit into them and it was like, what the hell is this stuff inside the chocolate? Like, it was sugar, but I think it was kind of a burnt sugar flavor. And we were like, what the hell? So we went back to good old fashioned American sugary chocolate after that and jelly beans. But I hope everybody has a good week here. I might live stream next Sunday. I might not. It's Easter. I might be taking that day off. Seems like it might be the right thing to do. But I hope everybody's doing well. As I said, God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there. I will hopefully see you again soon in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Bye-bye, folks.